This is Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast, a binge watcher's guide to streaming movies, TV series, and stuff. Here are your hosts, Graham and Jocelyn.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kicking and Streaming Podcast. My name is Graham, and with me today, of course, is the absolutely fantastic Jojo, to whom I say, as usual, hello, Jojo. To you, I say, Jojo.
Hello, Graham. How are you doing today?
Jojo, I would be doing better if I just turned off the mute on the microphone and started speaking. But, stuff happened.
It happens to everybody.
We live, everybody. We live. Yeah. Hey, you know what I've we live, everybody. We live. Where's my applause? Where's my applause? Hey, girl. Ouch. All right. So, Jojo, tell me, how you been for real, man? I ain't even playing. Like this time, I ain't playing. How you been?
I've been all right. I've been tired and worn out, but that's okay. Life,
Is it burnout syndrome?
It might be.
It's burnout syndrome from life.
Yeah.
It's not like we've been working even that hard, So it's just like, life. Burned out from life.
My husband sent me this little picture somebody posted online of a potato, and it was like, and let the potato rest for 5 minutes after the alarm goes off.
Potato gets stressed out, man.
And I was like, yeah, that's me. So turn it to 5 hours, and then I'd still be tired, but that's okay.
Just from the alarm going off. That's awesome. Yo, that's funny.
It's a cute little potato too. Poor little baked potato. It's kind of like squished in the middle. It looks kind of sad. If a potato can look cute and sad, this potato looks cute and sad. It's like, oh, the alarm went off.
The least you could do is let me rest, motherfucker. For 5 minutes. That's it. Then you can have at it. Have at it. Yo, our sense of humor is weird, but
that's okay.
I don't know if people love us because of that, or if people even love us. Like sometimes I wonder.
Oh,
And then we fall on the category of we don't give a fuck. Very well then. So today we are reviewing the Oscar nominations, and typically the Oscars are the weekend after Thanksgiving on a Sunday night, unless they change it to Tuesday night now and see, Globe, Golden Globe style. And the nominations came out, a few days ago. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday. It was
yesterday. Are they late, Georgia? Are they late? Weird.
I feel like I don't know, because time is all fucked up for me. Like, honestly, ever since the pandemic, my brain has taken on a completely different idea of what time is supposed to be. I don't know. I think we're in a different multiverse or something. But anyway, I feel like they used to come out like the year before, like December. Like
right.
And then the show was in March. That's what I remember. But Lord, I don't know.
Because then you'd have time to watch everything.
Right.
And have an opinion as to, who do you think is going to win?
Right.
But like
of January stuff, it only gives you like what, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 5 weeks?
Is it even for? Well, yeah, actually.
Because it's March, right?
So let's say it's usually the Sunday after Super Bowl, right? Because they wouldn't dare come out and do it on the Sun. So suppose the Super Bowl is going to be on the 5th of February. So it's likely to be the 12th or the 19th. Is that are we right? Let's see. We've got an article here. Why are we making all kinds of like predictions and stuff like that? It's probably, So
March 12th.
March 12th, right?
Is when they're going to air, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel.
So it's going to be March 12th.
March 12th. Oscars return on March 12th on ABC, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, then I suppose we have more time than we assumed we did.
So I guess basically we need to shut up and stop bitching.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that. We probably should go into the nominations. So in terms of the in terms of the nominations, we I guess we should start by saying that we're not necessarily very much cinema people unless something is worthy of going to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to understand that because hence the name of the show, Kicking and Streaming.
Mm-hmm.
If it's streaming, we'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's on cinema, we have to be very big fans of the movie or the adaptation or the book or the director
Cast.
or some of the actors. We have to be like extreme, like Olivia Colman type of shit, Jonathan
Mm-hmm.
Price or something,
Yeah.
you know. So in that respect, we are going to make predictions based on the information that we have,
Mm-hmm.
but our predictions aren't going to be as strong as they would have if it related as it relates to award shows that are typically TV oriented. So
Yeah.
it's very important to understand that. But it's fun to make predictions and shit, even though we know nothing about what we're talking about. Right, Jojo? Mm.
Well, I mean, basically, you could say most of the time we don't really know what we're talking about
Yeah.
anyway. So, and I think you can say the same thing for honestly anybody who writes an article. I mean, unless they are somebody who's casting votes and works for the Academy or whatever, basically everybody is just
Making
spinning in the
predictions.
wind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like at the end of the day, it's all a matter of sounding like you know what you're talking about.
That's right. That's right.
Except that we admit that we have no idea what the fuck we're talking about. So, will you take our sincerity and do what you will with it, or just turn this off and say, "Yeah, they themselves say that they don't know what they're talking about"? I think I would actually stay with it. If
I
I
would
were
too.
listening to this podcast right now, I would stay
Yeah.
with it. I'd be like,
I
"Yeah,
Yeah. I'd be
let's
like,
hear
yeah,
it."
they don't know what they're talking about, so let's hear what a couple of dumbasses have to say.
And let's see how wrong they can be. There's that.
Oh God, I do have opinions about this after reading it. I'm like, what the hell?
Well, Jojo, let's hear it then. So we are going to start with Best International Feature Film. Jojo, take it away, Jojo. Take it away,
Take it away.
Jojo.
And the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Germany; Argentina, 1985, Argentina; Close or Close, Belgium; EO, Poland; and The Quiet Girl, Ireland.
Okay, so prediction wise, we know that Argentina won the Globes, but
Hmm.
at the same time, we also admitted that we didn't think that there were going to be such an alignment with the Globes and the Oscars.
Yeah.
So, knowing what we know, having said that, Jojo, who do you think is going to get it? Um,
From everything that I have been reading, I think it's going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. And I think that there are a lot of people that were surprised that it was nominated for Best International and not Best Picture overall. Or I'm sorry, yeah, it is nominated for Best Picture overall. So I think this is the category it's going to win. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture, but I think that it's going to win Best International in that they want to give it something.
yeah, I think Hollywood has been definitely fascinated by this movie, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Hmm.
Um, but I do think that the Globes made an absolute statement because All Quiet on the Western Front was nominated
It was.
as an international movie also on the Globes. Yet the Globes come out and give it to Argentina.
Hmm.
And I know I said this as a joke last time, but Argentina has been on a roll,
They
you
have.
know.
They have.
So they just won the World Cup. So and they just won the Golden Globes. So Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Argentina at 1985 wins this one. But prediction wise, I think it's safe to assume that All Western might end up winning it because, as you said, they do want to give something to this movie. Innit?
Yeah, they really do, and I just don't see them giving it Best Picture. So, I don't know
But
why,
on
but
the other hand, it wouldn't be the first time that an international feature film ends up with Best Picture
no, it's
because,
true. We got Parasite, and yeah,
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 yeah, you got Parasite, you got what's his name, the Indian movie
yes,
by Danny Boyle,
Slumdog
Slumdog
Millionaire.
Millionaire. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it could be. Uh, it wouldn't be a surprise. I mean, if they did it, it would not be. No one should be surprised that happened. Yeah,
Hmm.
unless you haven't been watching these.
Hmm.
All right, so let's move on then to best original screenplay. I've got here The Bunches of Inisherin, written by Martin McDonough. Everything Everywhere All at Once, written by Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. The Fablemans, written by Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner. Tar, written by Todd Fields. And Triangle of Sadness, written by Ruben Östlund. Um, what's your prediction here?
This one is hard for me because I feel like it's going to be one of those things where a movie is going to sweep absolutely everything, or it's going to win like one thing.
Yeah, yeah. As usual, it
And
wouldn't be the
there's
Oscars.
right, right. So it's like, okay, so if it could definitely be the Fablemans, and then it's good. The Fablemans will win absolutely everything. It could be Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then it'll win everything, or this will be all it wins, or it'll be the Banshees, and it'll win everything, or this will be the only thing it wins. I really don't know. It's difficult for me to say. I kind of want to say Top Gun, which can I just say I don't understand a Top Gun movie being nominated for Oscars in terms of story or anything.
Is it
I
is it is it nominated in the
it's
best original
nominated.
screenplay?
It's nominated. It's not. Sorry. Apologies.
It-
I got ahead of us. But
okay, okay, okay.
I got ahead of us. It's my fault. Um. So yeah, I'll go off on that tangent at another time. So I don't
No,
know.
but
This one's difficult for me to win to pick.
I'm having a hard time. So here's the thing. I think Hollywood thinks that one of the greatest thing that has happened is the bunches of inner sharing. But at the same time, um, by all account, is an international movie,
Hmm.
which for some reason was not nominated as an international feature film. Was it? Was it?
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
It wasn't.
mm-mm,
It wasn't.
mm-mm,
But it's an international film,
mm-hmm.
which is a film in Ireland about Ireland. Um, but at the same time, you have The Fablemans, which is a Spielberg movie,
Yes.
and um, I'm not going to go ahead and say that the Academy feels like whenever Spielberg is nominated, he's got to win something. That's not what I'm saying, but that's not what I'm not saying.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm even making sense.
Well, typically Steven Spielberg has been churning out some fantastic movies and scripts that are very Hollywood friendly. Um, you know, what was the last one he did? Dublin. And so I understand what you're saying, that the Oscars kind of feel like he's paid his dues, I think,
Yes.
and deserves the nominations and the wins.
The other thing about the Fablemans is also a window into Spielberg's childhood, if you will,
Yeah.
sort
Yeah.
of like loosely based on his childhood.
Yeah.
And so that is an interesting story to learn for
Yes.
men that is kind of like incredibly private because he says that he struggled to put this out,
Yeah.
right? So that could be a big homage to him in terms of screenplay. But then, as you said, it could be also one of those things where either you win everything or just the only thing you win. So it would be interesting to watch. But my here's my prediction. I think where everybody's jaw is going to drop is when everything everywhere all at once ends up winning this one.
Think so? Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen here. So let me be wrong.
I'm writing this down. So,
Yeah, man. To see how
um,
wrong people be like, this motherfucker's always wrong. They never get it right. But like, we did good with the globes, though.
we did.
We had
You
like,
know, because I know absolutely nothing about it, and because I'm so conflicted over all of the others, I am going to pick Triangle of Sadness.
dude, what is this all about?
I don't know. I know absolutely nothing about it. I never heard of it until the nominations came out.
Triangle of
So
Sadness.
I'm just gonna pick it because I've never heard of it, and yeah. So that's my pick.
I think that's a good idea. I'm with you, but not with you.
Yeah. Hmm.
Right. So let's go to best adapted screenplay, which is where you had quite a bit to say.
So we have All Quiet on the Western Front, screenplay by Edward Berger, Leslie Patterson, and Ian Stokel. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery, written by Ryan Johnson. Living, written by Kazu Inishiguro. I got that totally wrong. I'm sorry.
Kazuo Ishiguro.
Thank you. Top Gun Maverick, screenplay by a whole bunch of people. Aaron Kruger, Eric Warren Singer, Christopher McQuarrie, based on a story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks. And Women Talking, screenplay by Sarah Polley.
Sarah Poli, huh? Yeah, so let's hear what you have to say about the Top Gun thing because here's the thing. I didn't watch Top Gun and I'm not going to watch Top Gun. The reason being is because what was it about almost 30 something years ago that the
36 years ago, almost 40 years.
that Top Gun came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. The music, the sound, like Top Gun was basically the music in Top Gun was like the sound of an entire era, if you will. Take My Breath Away is still one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. Um, but just leave it as is. Let it go into being a classic and fuck off.
Let it go peacefully into that good night.
Yes. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but let's hear you, Judge.
So I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick either. I feel like the whole thing was kind of a nostalgia money grab. I know that people loved this. I know they did. I know that people adored it, that critics loved it, that people just could not stop singing how fantastic this reboot, re whatever the hell it is, uh, how fantastic it is. But it just to me feels like a whole lot of nostalgia, especially with the way the world is currently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, it feels like a whole lot of forgive me, but white nostalgia for an era that is gone. And it was like, oh, Tom Cruise, he can still do it, and he's still a good-looking man, and it's still, we're still on top, blah blah blah, that kind
Yeah.
of shit
Yeah. Yeah.
is the whole thing that I take away from it. And I'm sure it's a perfectly watchable movie. And I'm sure it's a lot of fun, honestly, if you're willing to forgive certain things about it. But I don't understand all the Oscar nominations. I just don't get it. Like, to me, that would be like, I don't know, like uh, Adam Sandler movie. What's the one? It's one of my favorite movies, really, to watch. when I'm feeling down is The
Homelander.
Wedding Singer. The Wedding
Oh, the
Singer.
wedding singer.
It
Yes.
would be like if The Wedding Singer was nominated for a whole bunch of Oscars because that's a nostalgic movie, right? You know, it's set
Yeah.
in a certain time in a certain place, and no, it makes no sense. And but I just to me the Oscars are supposed to be where you celebrate art, not the box office.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. And gonna go ahead. Like Tom Cruise is pushing into his 60s now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Hate me for saying this, but it is just a matter of time before this motherfucker go ahead and die in one of those stunts.
No,
Because
it's
you ain't
true.
supposed to be doing any of that shit at that 60 plus. Fuck off.
No,
Pay
no.
somebody else that looks like you to do this shit. There's no need to be doing that. I've seen some Instagram shit that this motherfucker has done, and that shit's crazy, you know.
Mhm, mhm.
And it's all about, as you said, that big boldness of like, yo, I got the balls and blah blah blah. I'm a macho male, and man, fuck off. You an actor. Be an actor and let some other motherfucker take that risk.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I get it when you were young, and did you know how many bones Jackie Chan has broken in his
I
body?
think he's broken practically every bone he
Every
has.
bone. Why? Why would you do that? Look, I remember watching this comedy movie about baseball, and I don't remember, but like one of these niggas, like he got so famous that when he hit a home run, he had a stunt run for him. That's what I would do, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hit this shit, but you run. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so we've talked many times over the show, and is I just think Tom Cruise is nuts. I do. I think he's like legitimately has a mental illness, and I don't mean that in making light of mental illness in the slightest. That's not what I mean. But there is something off about the man. And since he is involved so deeply in Scientology and they don't believe in certain doctors and certain medications and things like that, I would not be surprised if the only way he can get dopamine is to essentially put himself somewhere where he's killing himself. So I don't know. There's something off about the man. I will always think that. I hope at some point he gets some peace and some happiness, but I just think there is something very wrong there.
Yeah, yeah, I'm in agreement with that because it can't be like there's no reason. Like I cannot think of any reason why he'd want to do all of that
No,
unless
there's,
like why? But just why?
yeah.
I mean, imagine eh, watching what's his name doing all of the stunts for Indiana Jones, like at
Mm-hmm.
his age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, let's not do that. There's no reason to do that. And I get it, like, yo, you have to live on the edge and shit and blah blah blah. Until when? But okay, let's stop here.
Yeah.
And and we're good. So what's the prediction here for best adapted screenplay, Jojo?
Let's see. So, best adapted screenplay. I think that I think I'm going to go with Glass Onion.
I I'm tending to agree with you because there is a bit of a craze about Glass Onion.
It's really
Yeah.
good.
Is it that good?
It is very good.
Some say that is even better than the Knives Out.
It is, honestly. And Knives Out is fantastic. Knives Out is absolutely fantastic, but Glass Onion is it's so good. It's so good.
And I haven't watched it.
I highly recommend it. I really do.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that
But
because
I think for it to not be ridiculous is you need to watch the first one. You need to watch Knives Out. I really do think you do. Because the
really,
character of Benoit Blanc is um he's a very, very multifaceted character, and Daniel Craig plays him incredibly well. And I think that you need the introduction to this character in Knives Out to fully appreciate him in Glass Onion.
All right. So I'm no seriously. I'm gonna just go ahead and hit the two of them. Boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But okay, so let's move on then. I'm not going to make any prediction. I'm just gonna pick Glass Onion with you
Okay.
because again, this is another one that possibly All Quiet will go ahead and win it. I feel like All Quiet is gonna have a big night.
Yeah, I feel like to me, all of these picks, I'm like, one of these movies is going to have a huge night, and one of them is going to win absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. So I think All Quiet,
Okay.
but I think on a wishful thinking type of thing, I'll go with Glass Onion because I trust your sense of how good that shit is.
Oh, it's good.
You
I
know,
will be sad if it does not win,
well
but
then,
you
Don Julio for that
know, Don
night.
Julio. Yeah, Don Julio sounds good.
Oh man, I'm having that thing. Is it okay? Okay, I thought we froze for a moment.
I
Okay,
think we're good.
so best supporting actress. We've got. Hold on. Angela Bassett, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Hong Cho or Hong Chao, The Whale. Kerry Condon, The Bunches of Inisherin. Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Stephanie Sue, um, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Uh, I've heard a lot about The Whale, and a lot of people, in fact, were quite disappointed at the fact that what's his name, Brandon
Brandon
Fraser,
Fraser.
did not actually have a better night at the Globes. And sometimes the Oscars, the Academy likes to kind of like redeem the credit, the critics of all the award shows with just handing out something to sort of like calm, the heavy feelings.
Hmm.
And I think in a category like this, I wouldn't be surprised if Hong Chao winds up winning for the Whale, and that might be the win for the Whale for
Okay.
that night. So,
That's
what do you think? But there's some heavy hitters here.
There are some really heavy hitters here. There's Angela Bassett,
Yeah,
who was fantastic. Stephanie Sue, I'm thrilled that she was nominated because she's so good in it. But I have to say, and like you said, Hong Chow would be great if he won for the Whale. As I hate to say consolation prize, but I don't quite know how else to put it. Um, Carrie Condon, I'm sure, was great in the Banshees. Um, but having seen the movie and having seen how many different parts she plays, I would love to see Jamie Lee Curtis win this. Um, she, I'm, I've never been a huge fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, and I don't mean that in like, I'll happily watch a movie if she's in it. I don't have a complete revulsion to her like I do some actors and actresses. But I've never really been all that impressed or excited by her. I don't know why. She just never really caught my attention with a performance before. But in Everything Everywhere All at Once, she's so goddamn good. And she's so funny. And she's so serious. And she's so sweet and sad and nasty. And it's like she got to play, I don't know, 15 different characters over the course of a movie, and she's brilliant. She's brilliant, and I really really want her to win. She deserves it. She
I
deserves it.
think I think to your point about Jamie Lee Curtis, I I see exactly what you mean, And I don't think it's necessarily or entirely Jamie Lee Curtis's fault, but I think it's Hollywood. What they did with her during her youth.
That makes sense.
She is, by all account, a serious actor and should have been taken more serious. But Hollywood decided to exploit her as a sex symbol. Um, you know, she's got a very hard look to herself, and she was sort of like uh, in all good measures, kind of like shapely and thick and curvy, and they exploited that to a point where you couldn't take her too seriously as an actor. And the moment that she turned 40 and cut off her hair and went gray, you sort of like looked at her in a different way and kind of sold her more for the talent. But I think she's, by all account, has always been as good. Um, and yes, the nomination here is absolutely well deserved. I fucking hate this clock. I've told you that before. So forgive me. You can talk, Jojo, because I have to go.
Let's see. I can talk about Best Supporting Actor. I can read the nominees for that if you're, or are you cool with it?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Okay.
Motherfuckers, fucking clock. Between her and Alexa, I want to kill something.
All right, so our Best Supporting Actor nominees are Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fablemans, Barry Keoghan for The Banshees, and Ki Hui Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And this one is a group of very talented gentlemen, but I know who my pick is. He won the Golden Globe. He's won many, and he deserves every single one that he's won. Ki Hui Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. He brought the idea of just being a kind person to life and how powerful that is. He brought that to screen perfectly, and this man deserves everything that's coming to him. And I will be so drunk if he doesn't win. I might be
Yeah.
really drunk if he does win because I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes about getting drunk, there's no, it's a gray area. Whether you're happy or sad, just fucking get drunk. Whatever, man. I, I feel you. I know that the black community is very happy for Brian Tyree Henry, for Causeway, Best Supporting Actor. But Ki Hui Kwan, really, God. For all I've read, for all I've heard, for all the opinions that I've heard shared, there shouldn't be anybody else that night to win this category. And I'm not saying that the rest of them don't deserve it. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that um, it's a nomination that should be a win for him. And we'll be talking about it the next show after the Oscars, because we should only see, you know. So let's go with Best Lead Actress. Kate Blanchett, Tar, Ana de Armas, Blonde, Andrea Riseborough to Leslie, Michelle Williams, The Fablemans, and Michelle Yeoh, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. You see how I managed to say where
I
there?
did. I noticed that.
Yeah, I love it. White and where and when.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed.
yeah. So uh, this is the first time Kate Blanchett keeps getting nominated for something, and you almost pretty sure that she ain't gonna win shit. It sounds bad for me to say, but I think we could eliminate Ana de Armas and Kate Blanchett, um, and narrow it down to Andrea Riseborough Michelle Williams and Michelle Yeoh, and one of the Michelles is going to win it, it's not going to be Williams. What do you say?
I think one, excuse me, sorry. I'm very surprised that Anna de Armas was nominated. I'm not saying that she didn't put in a lot of work on Blonde. I'm not saying that it wasn't a great performance. I'm just surprised she was nominated. Um, Andrea Riseborough, there is so much buzz about her in this little movie that I almost wouldn't be surprised if Andrea Riseborough took it. But who should win is Michelle Yeoh
Yeah. Andrea
because
Riseborough, we had a good talk about her
mhm.
back when we talked about that series, which I think we were the only podcast in the world that did an episode about the, what was it called again? 000.
Yeah, yeah, I think we were.
And she was absolutely fabulous on that.
Yeah,
We had a lot of fun talking about her.
we did.
And that, surprisingly, she's a Geordie. She's a Newcastle girl. It was just like, okay, well, there's that. God, please, people from Newcastle, don't kill me. Just,
It's with affection. It's with affection.
it's yeah, I love my Geordies, man. Yeah, I love Geordies. You know, it's just weird to see a Geordie with the shirt on, but you know. So I don't know about the movie to Leslie, but again, as you said, the buzzes have been like constant, constant. Um, but much in the same case of Kihui Kwan, there is just no other automatic thought than Michelle, you're winning it for everything everywhere all at once. Any other year, yes, but not this time. Simply not this time.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of best lead actor, Jojo?
All right, let's see. So we have nominated Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nye for Living.
Okay, one, I have to start by saying if you've watched the movie Elvis, don't kill me for saying this. Well, he might have been great in his acting, but I don't feel like Austin Butler looked like Elvis.
No, I
I
agree
don't,
with that.
I
He
don't
didn't. He
feel like
didn't.
he looked like Elvis at all. Like that was absolutely. If we were looking, do you like? Do you remember how impressive, impressive the comparisons between Jamie Foxx and Ray Charles were?
Hmm.
Like, it wasn't a question of he sounded like him, it was that he looked also like him, and he sounded like him, and he moved like him, and he balanced himself like him, and he intoned like like when you any actor playing an icon like Ray Charles or Elvis, you must be a reincarnation of that person. And I'm not saying you have to uh, imitate Elvis. You can take the character and do whatever you want with it, but fucking give me something that looks like the man.
Hmm.
And I couldn't find that on Austin Butler, and I refused to watch that movie because all I see is Austin Butler and not Elvis.
Hmm.
And they didn't do much in terms of makeup to help, you know. And I don't know how to feel about it, but I just don't. I'm not feeling it, you know.
I had a really strange experience with this movie because I'm a huge Baz Luhrmann fan. I've watched everything he's ever done, including an episode of the Melbourne Opera. And I love Baz Luhrmann. I know he's a total asshole and a whole lot of other things, but I'm just a huge fan of his work. So I was kind of on the fence about Elvis because, like you, I was like, this kid doesn't look anything like Elvis. Like and the actress who plays uh, his wife, Patricia, is that her name?
Priscilla.
Priscilla, that's it, Priscilla.
Yeah.
To me, looked absolutely nothing like Priscilla. To me, and so, but I still wanted to watch it because it's Baz Luhrmann. And Austin Butler's performance is so good, I forgot what Elvis looked like. And it was weird. I looked at Jeff and said, I don't remember what Elvis looks like. And he's like, I kind of don't either.
That's amazing.
It was fucking bizarre. And all and even now when I see a picture of Elvis, I'm like, that's not Elvis. And I'm like, no, wait, that's Elvis. You're thinking of Austin Butler. It is a very, very strange experience.
That is strange.
It was weird. So I loved the movie. I loved his performance. I think his performance is almost transcendent. I don't know necessarily that he deserves to win an Oscar for it, but I found the whole experience completely fascinating because I've never had anything like that happen to me before. Normally, that takes me right out of the movie, as you just said. Like
Yeah.
this person is nothing like this. I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like he was possessed by Elvis or something. It's very strange.
That's incredible.
Now, the woman who played Priscilla, she took me out of it a little bit every time she was on screen because to me, her performance and everything else, I never saw or heard Priscilla at all. And Tom Hanks also took me out of it a little bit whenever he would appear because I'm not quite sure what Tom Hanks was on when he was doing this performance, but it was some kind of strange upper or downer or something because he was a little off center. But every time Austin Butler was on screen, I wanted more of him on screen. It was like, just forget everybody else, especially the scenes with him and his mother, the woman who plays his mother. They had a chemistry that was fascinating and a little on the creepy side, which is true in the case of Elvis and his mother, and also very much a loving, caring relationship between a son and his mom. So, anyway, all of that to say, I think it was a great performance. I was had a very strange experience having watched the movie because again, I still look at pictures of Elvis and I'm like, that's not Elvis.
That is
Yes,
not
it is.
Elvis.
Yes, it is. That's Elvis. You're thinking of Austin Butler.
You know what? It's an amazing thing because my impression, as I've expressed, is that I shouldn't watch this because I'm not gonna get Elvis out of this guy. But now I'm simply interested. I'm interested based on what you've described the performance as being, because there's that too. You know,
And I've
it's
never had
just
that. I've never had that happen before. I haven't. Always when somebody so like what was the movie we talked about or maybe it was a series about Lucy. I Love Lucy
yes,
and Ricky Ricardo.
yes,
Um he was never for me. He just
right,
didn't look
right.
enough like him. He didn't embody him. Nothing. There was
The
nothing
accent
there.
was weird.
Everything was wrong.
Yeah,
And I've had it happen with other movies too, where there's been another Elvis movie. Jonathan Rhys Davies play. It was a TV movie, made for TV movie. Might have been a miniseries. Um, and he was good in it, but he didn't look enough. He looked more like Elvis than Austin Butler did, but I still didn't believe him as Elvis. It's I don't know. It was
I'd
a
like to,
very
I'd like
strange
to, I'd like
experience.
to be, I would like to see the casting process for this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know that as good as Austin Butler could have, if he ever auditioned for this, I know that I would have been one of those to say, nah, that's not the guy. So in the end, how did it end up with the film? He had to have fucking shown exactly what you're just saying here. at the moment of audition for somebody to say, yeah, let's trust this guy with this, you
So,
know.
from what I understand, his audition was a rendition of him doing um, Unchained Melody on the piano as older, larger Elvis. It's one of Elvis's last performances before he died,
Yeah,
and it's available on YouTube to watch Elvis's performance. And it is shocking because the man is up there like slurring, he can barely talk
yeah,
and sweating, and then he just bursts into this beautiful rendition of this song. And from what I understand, that was what Boston Butler chose to do as his audition, was that, just that one part. And at the end of it, Baz Luhrmann was like, I don't want anybody else. I want him.
there you go. That is the sign of a fucking amazing actor. But with that said, who do you think's going to win this one?
Let's see. That was a lot of talk.
I know.
Austin Butler has won a lot. It was a great performance. I don't know. It might be nice to see Brendan Fraser win. You know, we're in our Renaissance or whatever they're calling it. But and I've heard fantastic things about Bill Nye for Living, for this movie Living. That it is. Um, I really want to watch this. I feel like it's something we could talk about on the podcast because this
Yeah.
movie is apparently
Is it on
just
Amazon?
gorgeous. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
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 So I'm not quite sure who to say is going to win it. I kind of am thinking it's going to be Austin Butler because he's won so many, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad with any of these folks winning.
Yeah. I'm on the same. The only one I'm unfamiliar with is Paul Mescal in
Hmm.
the After Sun thing. But other than that, yeah, I've heard like fantastic things about uh the Brendan Fraser movie, The Whale, is on it, like it's a new movie to a certain extent, but it's on its way of becoming like a culture phenomenon,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
So there's that. Is he going to win based on the people that he's nominated around? No. So in fact, I think the two um, narrow down that the two that you can take out of there is probably Paul Mescal and Brendan Fraser, and then leave these other three. Colin Farrell has a good chance of winning it. Austin Butler or Bill Nye could be the surprise in that respect. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm gonna shut my mouth with that one.
Yeah, I just, I mean, I know that's kind of a cop out, but I can't make a prediction with it. I really can't.
Hey man, we're not that good anyway, so we don't want to be that wrong. So let's go to best director. We're gonna see Martin McDonough, The Bunches of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg, The Fablemans, Todd Field, Tar, and Ruben Östlund, Triangle of Sadness. Um, talk to me, Jojo.
Oh God, so this one is hard too. I really wish I knew more about Triangle of Sadness.
Yeah,
I had not heard of it at all until the nominations came out. So, um, I could see Steven Spielberg winning it because he's Steven Spielberg, and this movie is a very intimate portrait of his life. And as you said earlier, he's a very private man. Um, I could see Martin McDonough winning it for the Banshees because he's also fantastic and I think a bit overlooked in terms of winning.
yeah,
Um, but I want Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert to
yeah. I don't blame you.
win.
I don't blame you. I do think uh, Yeah, those are the top three, to be honest. And it's so weird that the nominations came out like this, right? Martin McDonagh, Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert, and Steven Spielberg. Um, because Triangle of Sadness seems to be on the merits there because it needs to be there. But again, it's not something that we know about. We've heard a lot of buzz about. So it might be the critics' pick, the same as Tar. And I've actually, before the Oscars, I'm going to go ahead and watch these two movies so that I can understand why the nomination.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel strongly about um, either of these three. But I kind of see Spielberg winning it though.
See, I do too. I do too. I see him winning it too because he he's Spielberg, and
Spielberg.
and this movie is a big deal and a good
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So, um,
We
I
will
know
be
who
talking about it.
I know who I want to win. I want the Daniels to win, but I think it's going to be Spielberg.
Yeah. And you know, on the day after the Oscars, and we'll have that conversation, and we'll remember, you know, how much we struggled with this one.
Yeah.
And we are on to Best Picture.
Mhm.
Georgia, you can go ahead.
Going ahead now.
Going on ahead.
All right. So, Best Picture, we have. I'm not going to go into reading all the names because I'm just going to butcher names. And I hate it when I do that. It makes me very angry at myself and very, big stupid white American. So,
It's all good, Georgia. Yeah.
all right. So we have All Quiet on the Western Front,
Malte Grunert,
Avatar: The Way of Water,
James Cameron, John Landau,
The Banshees of Inisherin,
Graham Broadbent, Pete Cherning, and Martin McDonough.
Elvis,
Baz Luhrmann, Catherine Martin, Gail Barman, Patrick McCormick, and Skylar Weiss.
Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert, and Jonathan Wang.
The Fablemans,
Christy Makosko Krieger, Steven Spielberg, and Tony Kushner.
Tar,
Alexandra Milchin, Scott Lambert.
Top Gun Maverick,
Tom Cruise, Christopher McQuarrie, David Ellison, and Jerry Bruckheimer. Jerry Bruckheimer was involved with that. Isn't that dude a TV dude?
he is very much a TV dude.
Okay. Damn.
Triangle of Sadness,
Eric M. Hemmendorf and Philip Bober.
and Women Talking.
Didi Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Frances McDormand. Uh-oh. It's time for predictions. Yeah.
So Women Talking is another movie I wish I knew more about because I've heard so many good things about it, and obviously it must be of some merit because it's been nominated. But I don't know enough about it to be able to say much.
And you kind of had to, by deduction, think of Frances McDormand based on the title of this movie, Women Talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's kind of like her vibe, her thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be really, really good if she
Yeah.
produces that. But yeah, man, I'm the only thing I'm gonna go ahead and take right out, and if they win, I'm going to be really pissed off at the Academy is Top Gun.
If Top Gun wins, I want my husband to record my reaction if Top Gun wins because I'm gonna be like, it's all rigged by Scientology. It's not the Illuminati. It's Scientologists. They've got everything rigged.
Yo, mate, shut up. Mate, hey, stop it. Nobody's
He agrees
asking you
with
to bar. He's got opinions. Buddy, stop. enough.
Either that or he is a Scientologist and he's upset. But I don't
Yeah,
think
he
you'd have a
probably.
Scientologist in your house.
He might be, because that nigga is weird. Come here, man.
Was
Come
he
on,
ever
come.
like, let's do an audit session?
No, come over here. Over here. Come and say hello to Jojo. Come here, you
Buddy.
big boy.
Oh, you're enormous. Look
Yeah.
at you. Oh my goodness. You're like an enormous version of Frankie.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
Everything is good, right?
Yeah, it's okay. You don't need to do an audit session.
No audit session needed. All right. So yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. So if they win, it's rigged by Scientology. Oh, this is awesome. So all in all, all quiet. You think maybe?
I think it's down to All Quiet, The Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fablemans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's down
What
between
about
those.
Avatar? We didn't think would like Avatar is a big one too.
But it's Avatar.
Yeah, but like, listen, man, I've heard a lot of people talking about Avatar like it's the next coming of, the Buddha.
People
I
say
know,
that
I know
about
other
the
people would say
first
Christ,
one
but
too.
huh?
People say that about the first one too.
I see where you're going there, man. I don't want this show to be canceled.
All I will say is I don't think it has a chance of winning, but if it does, then water people are in charge. I don't know. James Cameron bought out the Academy. He's got the money to do it.
Well, here's the king of the world. Look, I am going to pick one. I'm going to close my eyes and point at Elvis.
Okay.
That's my pick.
Okay.
Pick one, Jojo.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay. I know that both of us are wrong. It's going to be the Fablemans.
Right.
But we'll have that conversation the day after the Oscars. Very well, then. So we have arrived to the end of the show. These are our predictions for the next Oscars. I am going to try and take the day off, the day after the Oscars, which is a Monday. Typically, I'm off on Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'll take the day off and we'll have that convo live on the YouTube and also for our people, our podcast listeners. So we always have fun talking about this. Again, it's not like we know what the hell we're talking about, but this is how this podcast started. We were two co-workers who, on our downtime, all we did was talk about movies and shows that we binge watched. And a lot of people, for some reason, especially now that I work where I work, they ask me like, "What is the origin of? How do you go about creating a podcast like this?" And I'm like, "You have no idea. Really, it's simplest thing. It was the only person who has always interested in the same thing. We were always interested in the same shows, the same movies, the same actors. We had the same taste. And one day I said, why don't we start a podcast? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, are you sure? Because everybody says no. you know. So it's fun like that. And we're still having fun doing it. I know that sometimes we seem a bit intermittent because live. But the fact of the matter is, we're still kicking and streaming, and we're still having fun doing it. And we are happy to talk about the Oscars the day after the Oscars. Right, Jojo?
Yes, that's right. That is right.
But for now, oh, don't forget to look us up on the internet you know,
Internets.
the internet.
Series of tubes.
A series of tubes. Yeah. The internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a website. We're on the Facebooks. We're on the Instagrams.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just,
And on the Twitter, the Twitter to the little buzzy bird, whatever. So kicking and streaming, easy to find. No G, no ing, just IN. Kicking and streaming.
Yes.
And we are going to call it a day, Jojo, right?
That's right.
For me, for Jojo, this is goodbye, folks.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Kicking and Streaming Podcast. If you found value in our content, please subscribe and share. We would also be delighted to hear what you think of this podcast. So please rate us by writing a quick review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all major social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Join the conversation happening today on our Facebook group.